When you lose one of your senses, your mind makes up for it by heightening the others. It is one of the reasons ghost hunters often work in the dark, yet they never truly give up their sense of sight. I'm traveling to Iowa to meet up with a local filmmaker whose film, A Brush with Evil 2, explored sensory deprivation at a haunted location.
We are giving you full permission to provoke. Under one circumstances. Go ahead and sit down.
That chair right there.
Circumstance.
Sensory deprivation.
Huh?
Sensory deprivation.
What's that?
You are going to be blindfolded?
No.
In the film, individual members of the crew had one of their senses taken away from them as they sat isolated in a room. What they experienced was intriguing from a psychological and paranormal point of view.
My name is Josh Hurd. I first got, involved with Malvern Manor when we were filming our first documentary, A Brush with Evil. So my wife had this crazy idea after we got done with the film tour of the first movie. She said, "Oh, we should do a sequel." And everybody was like, "No, we don't want to do it anymore." And I even remember specifically saying, if I ever want to do another film, just take me out to the street and shoot me in the head. And no. We just had to trust her. It was kind of just between her and our director of photography, Rick, and they had cooked up this crazy freaking idea with, sensory deprivation and isolation type experiments. I think more or less to kind of raise our fear levels.
In the film, forms of sensory deprivation were used. Those undergoing the experiments had varying results.
I've begun to question a lot more since doing all the experiments for the second film. It's almost like I don't trust myself anymore sometimes. So I guess if I'm on an investigation and something is happening, I'm like, why is this happening? What is causing this specific activity to happen right now? And it's 1,000,000 miles an hour now that my head is going.
Malvern Manor began as a home and morphed throughout its existence. Once known as the Cottage Hotel, it later became a convalescent home and a minimum care facility. Throughout its time, it had become a site of mystery and despair. Rumors of abuse from both patient and staff swirled after its closing in 2005.
So we know that the place was built in what looks as if like the 1870s. And now we know that it was the fourth structure that was built in town. It was a hotel. And then we know it switched hands and became more of like a nursing home setting. And then we know that it switched hands yet again and became more of a group home for the mentally handicapped. And this was literally everybody from people with alcoholism to schizophrenics and multiple personalities and some very severe type of mental illness. So literally the entire gamut of people were treated here, and generally all at the same time in the same population, which is something that's not commonly heard of. Some people that used to work at the location have been nice enough to give us their time and walk us through the house as they remember it, which was pretty cool. We know like Gracie was a name. We know that there's one upstairs that's Susie, and we know that what we call like the grumpy man. He likes apparently to be called by Hank or Henry, is a name that we've been getting quite often in association with the grumpy man or whatever.
I was fortunate to know another key figure who had worked on A Brush with Evil 2 and had his own experiences.
My name is Richard Rose, and I was, at the time when Malvern Manor was found, I was the founder, lead investigator of Paranormal Warnings, which I still run on a while. But Malvern Manor come up because one of my friends, Josh Hurd, was filming a documentary called A Brush with Evil. And was supposed to be doing the Classic Cafe as an investigation for part of the movie. And they come up on it. There was a whole bunch of people in there, they were partying. So he ran across this guy that said he had a haunted building right across the street. And this is how Malvern Manor had come about. And Josh contacted me, said, "You're not going to believe it. I've got this insanely haunted spot that I'm going to start running. Why don't you come up and check it out?" So I come up here, and this became my second home. I would sleep in here for 4 to 5 nights at a time and do live streams and investigations out here. I have experienced everything from your normal footsteps, scratching on the wall. I have had stuff thrown at me. While on Skype, I wish I could recover that video, but I come down here in the foyer and stand in front of a shelf which used to be up against the wall. And I was talking to a couple of my friends, a couple of them ran off to get dinner, the chick was still there. And she said she didn't believe in hauntings. So I took her around half the house that had Wi-Fi. And when I got back down here, I was standing there, and there was a piece on, I don't know what you call it, it's like the end of a hammer, pries the nails out, but it was
Pry bar?
Yeah, it was a pry bar, but that's all it was. And they had to weigh a good 5 pounds, if not more. But I seen her eyeballs get about as big as softballs. And she did the whole behind you, like that type, while she was screaming it. When I looked into my camera, the pry bar was in midair, right above my head. And all of a sudden it dropped and it hit the shelf, and the Ouija board that was behind it went flying across the room.
About how far did the Ouija board go?
Probably about a good 6-7 feet.
Personally, I've had my clothes tugged. I've had weird voices. I guess you could say that you're hearing them. Sometimes it's almost as if they're just like being implanted into your brain. It's really a weird circumstance to come across. But yeah, you'll hear voices. You'll feel breath on your neck and your ears. Like I said, the tugging on the clothes. I've seen a few now, shadow figures moving around, and that really scares me. Is like when you start seeing those shadow figures and things like that. It's really weird, really freaking weird. A ton of disembodied voices, whistling and things of that nature, and people calling out to you and hello and all this weird stuff. Running, like you'll hear like these disembodied footsteps running and walking, sometimes quite heavily, especially on the second floor and in the attic. The attic now, especially over just the past couple months, has been insanely active.
There's a piece in the movie that has us still very confused, and we filmed this almost a year ago. We still talk to it. We've taken it up to some higher named people to show them and ask them what they think. Basically, the way to explain it was Josh was under sensory deprivation. He had earplugs and he was blindfolded. And he heard an EVP come through. And he reacts to the EVP. But he's got earplugs in his ears.
Right.
I didn't hear anything. I'm sitting maybe 3 feet from him. And he's like, "Did you hear that?" And I just kept filming, not even thinking. I thought he just heard something weird. But we went back and reviewed the footage, and right before he reacted, there was an EVP caught through the camera audio and the digital audio. But my ears didn't pick it up. Somehow his did, and he was compromised.
Rick had asked to film my night in Malvern, but what he didn't expect is that he would be participating in the experiment. For tonight's experiment, we have asked Angel, who is a psychic medium remote viewer, to assist us. Rick and I will be conducting a form of sensory deprivation while in isolation. I have asked Angel, who has no knowledge of the location, to make contact with any entities here. The goal is to encourage them to make contact with us. She will be recording with her cell phone from her home in Springfield, Missouri. We will conduct 30-minute sessions with 15-minute breaks in between. There will be no contact with Angel until we are done.
I feel like there's
There's been a lot of sickness in this place. Death. The energy is very, not negative, but thick. There's a lot of footsteps heard. There's also a younger woman with older clothes on. I feel like she worked there, but she also died there. I also see a shadow figure that moves up and down the hallway. It's not very tall. Maybe 5'5". I feel like there might have been some mistreatment of people in that building. Maybe in the form of bad health care. The younger woman tries to tell her story. Accident.
Alright, it's almost 10 o'clock. We're about to start our experiment. How are you feeling right now?
It's the stupidest thing I've ever done.
Perfect. So, Rick's going to be down the hall here where shadow figures have been seen. Down in this end of the hall, I will be in a room where, on a previous investigation, I've heard scratches coming from the closet. You've heard them as well before. People have had phantom smells down there. Not of the good kind, not like floral or anything, but...
So it smells like somebody soiled himself.
Yep. We've got our blindfolds ready, and it's time to start the experiment. So
Okay.
Here we go.
I'm giving you permission to make contact, but don't harm or possess. Can you make a noise so I know you're down here?
David really wants you guys to talk to him.
All right, what was that?
Like a door slammed or something dropped.
Keep walking up here, I heard you. I'm gonna let you guys know that's watching this. 2 of my safety nets have been taken away. 1 safety net. Damn it, I'm hearing stuff. It's got my heart racing. Hope that was somebody moving. Damn it. It's taking everything not to get up.
I hear go away. And strangely, I hear I want to play. David, I'm not sure if you can feel this, but it feels like that there is someone behind you. It's a very strong energy.
Pain. There. My shoulder. Not there anymore. Since I just did that. Getting like a throbbing pain in my right arm. Oh my fucking God. I don't know if you heard that behind me. Is that tapping noise? It's feeling pretty comfortable. There it is again. That's me talking.
I feel a heaviness on my chest. My breathing's getting more rapid. And pain right here.
That is weird. My head is throbbing. I can actually feel the pulse.
From surgery.
Unknown to Angel, it seemed as if activity had picked up at her home over 200 miles away.
There's one on the ceiling above David, observing.
Oh God. That's time. My phone's on vibrate, man. Yours are ringing?
Yeah, bad.
So is mine. Did you hear music in your ear?
No, I was getting like a throbbing sensation, like in the sinuses. But I haven't touched my camera yet. You tell me.
No, it's not on.
Yeah.
See the...
I heard it. I thought I heard it shut off. It made it like a ding dong. Because I even jumped from it.
Battery low.
There ain't no way. Something drained it.
Had to have.
It had 151. It said 157 minutes over here.
A shot of that, maybe. Turn this off from that shot. With a change of batteries, we quickly regrouped before heading to the second floor for our second session. Right now we are on the second floor. Richard is going to take the hallway where the one patient would go across the hall and rape the other patient. I will be taking the blood hallway where one of the patients apparently had been severely beaten and there's blood that smeared all the way down the wall. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. So
I'm not liking this idea.
So he's going to go that way. I'm going to go this way. Good luck.
Hopefully we meet back in the middle.
Hopefully.
Second session.
Alright, we're upstairs. I'm in the Brush with Evil hallway. Second isolation session.
The one is still on the ceiling. Kind of in the corner. Observing.
When you're blindfolded, all your other senses heighten. So, I'm noticing things with my body that normally I wouldn't notice.
I don't know what that was.
Getting a little uncomfortable here. Not gonna lie.
There's something dark there.
They used to cross this hallway, almost where my camera's sitting. You'd go over there and do bad things to the guy across the hallway. Are you here? What the f was that? My heart's pounding.
Just felt something on my wrist. Who was that?
I think the little girl's trying to talk to David. Not sure if she's audible to the room. And I hear, David.
There's a knock behind me. If that was you, can you do that again?
I will say this as an investigator. Without your sight, you tend to mark things more on your recorder because there's sometimes you forget to do it.
But without sight, you have to. Just makes me realize that there's things that I could be doing better as an investigator.
I'm supposed to be sending spirits to David, but I keep feeling drawn to another room.
That guy in the hallway over there, he's sitting in a chair in the hallway. You believe that? You should go kick his chair. Tell him to move. Get out of the way.
I'm hearing voices. All right, something just knocked on my chair. Is that you? I gotta be hearing things.
Someone just stroked their beard.
Trey. Just felt something on my face. Did you just touch my face? Like you like the beard?
It's kind of a weird way to describe it, but I'm feeling like a disturbance. I don't know.
This session isn't going very well. I'm really not able to connect much. I feel like something's trying to keep me out.
After the second session, we stumbled upon something that validates video evidence captured by another investigator. Plopped on the floor and leaned up against the wall. Huh? But I was sitting there. It's towards the end of the session. Hey, is this open?
Nope.
I just ran into it. I'm like, wait a minute.
Nope, that was not open when we left. Because we were talking about it earlier.
Wait,
Because you thought it was...
is that the cabinet that popped open?
Yep.
On the video?
Yep.
There you go. Good job.
Thank you.
After testing and failing to prompt the cabinet to open, we decided to take a different approach for the third session.
Alright, session 3.
So instead of doing a deprivation session at this point, we're actually going to do a quick investigation up in the attic without the blindfolds. And because the psychic is directing her stuff towards me, we're going to see if we can get anything to interact with us. So we're going to go to the attic right now. It's got to set itself, right?
Not like that.
Maybe my cell phone? Here, take my cell phone and back up some.
If that was you, can you do it again? That's right where I'm sitting here and everything.
Stop. Stop doing that. See something here. Can you make all those lights light up again? Did I just invade your space there?
Yep.
Light them all up.
I'll let you know. That's probably about the fourth place this ever went off. It went off for the filming of ours,
Yeah.
but nothing like that.
With the REM pod going quiet, we made our way to the attic.
See, I've walked up on this thing and it's not going off, so it wasn't one of us.
I thought maybe it was my phone. Alright, well, let's continue up to the
I appreciate it.
I smell something burning.
That was my stomach. Can you tell me your name? Did you hear that?
No. Was it a voice?
Kinda. It's just really faint though.
I mean,
If I set this down towards you, if you're back here, can you use it? Set it on the dusty floor. Use this brick.
me moving?
Set it right there. That's for you to play with. I'm gonna stand right here. I won't come any closer.
Is there been a fire there?
So we know there was a fire up here. Were you one of the ones that passed away in the fire? Were you stuck up here?
It's strange. I feel like I'm being petted.
You know, I thought that thing would be spewing out more words.
Usually does.
We know there's not much environmental change up here apparently.
Like, extreme distraught. Someone saying, Teddy, Teddy. It's very distraught. Crying. No, no, no. Teddy, no.
It's my stomach.
It's me moving. Do you hear that?
Yeah. Voices.
Is that outside? That is outside. That has to be outside.
Somebody fighting?
Doesn't end just like that.
They're still going now. Faintly. That was fighting. That was a guy and a woman. Dude, that gives me goosebumps. If that's somebody outside, man, I mean, there's no windows here. I thought somebody was moving around downstairs or something. That's...
Before it to end just like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's... We gotta go look outside.
This bone-chilling fight we just heard with our own ears was faint on the camera's audio, but the recorder left by the attic stairs picked it up with amazing clarity, making it one of the best pieces of audio evidence I have ever heard or captured.
The voices. Is it outside? It is outside. That has to be outside. Somebody fighting? Doesn't end just like that.
Let's come back after the loop, and then we'll just go.
What'd that say?
Words.
Fuck.
Speech. We were hearing people talking. Words.
Fucking serious, dude. I just got the chills.
Was that you talking?
My battery's drained too.
I heard the voice again.
I'm seriously
That's
watching this counter
My phone?
on the
No, it's not my phone. Did you hear that music?
yeah. I'm watching the counter on this thing go down from it was just sitting at 20 minutes, now it's at 6 minutes. The battery level is it's being drained as I hold it. 5 minutes, see, it just went down to 5.
Can you talk to us again? Make some noise again. We have to review that audio.
4 minutes. There's no way it should be going down this quick. I heard it, yeah.
That's got to be somebody outside. Let's go check.
We're going to have to. I mean, this audio is 3 minutes.
As soon as we got to the second floor, the battery in the camera gave out. As Rick went to switch to a new battery, I checked around outside for any sign of life.
I'll catch back up with him. See if he's seen anything.
Hey.
Good?
Yeah, there's nothing out here. Come here. The neighbors are up over there, but nobody's outside.
They've never. No, that's Dawson's house.
Yeah.
I know them.
Come down here. One car down this whole street. One car.
I'm gonna give these guys the advantage. I'm going right out in the street, folks. I've been recording, so I'm standing out in the middle of Malvern, Iowa. There is nothing. I've never seen the others do that. Something happened and it automatically responded to what was happening.
Well, here's the thing. The REM pod started going off in a way that you've never seen it before. We go upstairs, we hear that, and the ovilus was quiet like you've never heard before.
Yep. Something was definitely manipulating.
Something's here at Malvern. And we're gonna find it. Are you hearing that?
Was there a knock?
Like, more like tings to me. It sounded like stuff's moving down there. Killed.
Let's go. It's a little bit of hide and seek. You hide, I seek. We're hearing you down here. Can you direct me where to go? By a noise that is distinct enough that we know it's you.
Affair.
Affair.
Right after killed. The fighting.
Did you hear it?
No, because I was getting excited because I was putting something together in my head. The yelling, the fighting, affair, killed.
It could be, yeah. Was that you that made the noise down here? Come on.
Carol. Holy shit. Killed, affair, Carol.
I can hold that if you want me to, so you don't have to.
That's 3 in a row that really tie together.
All right, Carol. Apple. Yeah, that's a common word that comes through.
Or last name.
Carol, I've never heard that name in here. Are you or your murderer inside this building right now?
Hold that out.
Murphy.
Carol Murphy.
Or Murphy's a murderer.
Who is Murphy?
Going all around here.
Back up here.
All right, you gotta. I'm getting a cold draft on my legs. Something just passed through me. There's no way. There's no draft up here.
Blew that way toward, like past you?
It came through me this way,
This way?
but it was just my knees and under. Just from my knees down.
See, when we were doing the isolation sessions, I was in that first room, I was feeling stuff like if it was moving my pant legs on the bottom part of my knee, from the knee down. And then while up here, I kept getting that cold spot on my knee.
All right, you moving through us? Or was it the little kid spirit? Were you running? Is this a fun game to you? Feel.
Dude, some of these words are really,
I've never seen this before.
really contributing to everything that we've just experienced.
I felt you. I did, and actually, that bar on the bottom is the strength meter. So that's how strong that word was. And that's weird. It's right after I said I felt the.
This is really f***ing cool tonight. This is so, I don't know, wild. And I keep using that word wild today.
Well, I'm not exactly sure what happened. I was using something else to video, and about 6 minutes into session 3, the whole thing just quit and it will not record anymore. So I'm going to attempt it from my phone and see how it goes. We only have a few minutes left for session 3 by the time that I got everything figured out and moved over to the phone. When my recording stopped, I was speaking of that dark, shadowy thing that was on the ceiling again. So I'm not sure what the situation is with that or what David's experiencing, but I keep experiencing extreme amounts of nausea and headaches. I also had the impression that maybe one of the crew had something happen. I'm not real sure, but it felt like somebody in the room, and it felt like somebody that was holding equipment. I have to say, this is one of the strangest things I've ever done in my remote viewing. And I will go ahead and discontinue this until we go into the 4th session to see if I can manage to record more than 6 minutes.
After everything that we experienced, we felt it was time to give Angel a call and end the night. Both Rick and I were astonished at the degree of accuracy in the things she shared from her readings and remote viewing.
Okay,
So how you feeling?
vindicated. Very vindicated. That's for an experimental thing to take place, like where we have somebody remotely viewing. You know, you hear people saying that they're psychic or, you know, they're remote viewers or whatever, and most of the time you won't believe it until you actually hear what they have to say or hear them do a reading, and all these things are hitting. And tonight, with everything that we've had happen, the experiences people have had, with her not knowing anything about this location, she has hit on so much, and so much of it has coincided with everything. So I'm very, very pleased at how that portion of it turned out. The sessions we did in there, the sensory deprivation, myself, I felt more comfortable in that state than I thought I would. Running a recorder, I don't know if I picked up anything. I had a couple experiences that, you know, I kind of shrugged off until she said something, like being touched on the wrist and on the face. It was pretty interesting. So we're just gonna have to go from here and take that, especially that one piece of audio, and, you know, show the world Malvern Manor is haunted.